Previously, we delved an ancient Hive temple and acquired the shell of Sagira, Osiris' ghost. We were able to hear one of Savathun's thoughts, and she mentioned someone called the Witness. This only brought about more questions, and thus we've returned to Ikora on Mars. Sagira brings up a lot of old memories for Ikora due to her being the ghost of Osiris. Regardless, Ikora supposes that the voice we heard was from a psychic fingerprint. How we were able to hear this in the first place is most likely due to the newly discovered relic. Somehow, this new ability allows us to reveal what lies beneath the surface and is rooted in the darkness. This so-called witness mentioned by Savathun is probably somehow tied with her theft of the light. In order to learn more, we need to hear more from the psychic fingerprint that lingers on Sagira, and that means we need to strengthen this ability. I assume that this ability is also tied with deepsight, which means that this mystery is at least being tackled. We previously learned stasis from the pyramid at Europa, so perhaps if we head there once more, we will be able to learn even more this time on our new power. Eris acts as our guide as we take the scenic route to the pyramid. She gets straight to business. If we try to commune with the veiled statue in the pyramid, we should be able to strengthen our connection to the darkness. Eris says that this will allow us to see beyond the limitations of normal sight. I guess we could have told Eris about our deep sight abilities, or perhaps Ikora filled her in, but I am curious as how she knows for a fact that communing with the darkness statue will strengthen our connection in the first place. We already got stasis, so what if the statue is all tapped out of power? I haven't been able to learn anything else from it ever since I finished earning all of the aspects. I guess Eris is just hoping for the best of results. After clearing the scouting party, our ghost manages to pick up on the signal of an outgoing Cabal transmission. It's from Keitel, and she wishes to inform all of the warriors of the Cabal Empire that certain groups of Cabal have encroached upon the European pyramid as they hope to gain something from the darkness. Those Cabals are defectors and should be taken care of. These messages help establish the current state of the Cabal. However, it wasn't until the third line that I began to think that Keitel might be one of her allies instead of another bad guy like I first assumed. She says that her father's obsession with the darkness must not infect her own ranks. Our ghost then refers to Keitel as the Empress. Apparently, at some point, we befriended the Cabal Empire. I wasn't able to play the Red War campaign, but I know we had to stop Gaul, the previous Cabal Emperor, and it was that event that caused the Traveler to wake up, which is why the pyramid ships are now here. At some point after that, Keitel took over and decided to create a truce with the Vanguard. That's a pretty interesting development. Since even the Hive can wield the light now, I wonder if we're going to start seeing light-bearing Cabal in the future. We are fighting a group of Cabal deserters right now, so perhaps they will actually have gained something from the pyramids and will start attacking us with some powers of the darkness. They've already made a ton of progress by setting up this camp. During all of that, we placed down our first campaign banner. This area is extremely open, and it's not all that dense. I'm able to just float over the area and deal with most of the trash with some solar nades. The only actual threat is the Goliath tank hovering around. My heavy is the only real way for me to deal damage to this thing, and of course, that requires me to not kill myself with my rocket launcher. This really shouldn't be as difficult of a task as it is, but every time the rocket launcher is in my hands in close quarters, disaster is just a single click away. I pushed up and I found out where all the Cabal are the hard way. I got whittled away by the ground troops, but the Scorpius turret is a vicious sniper, so being low health near it was a death sentence. My second attempt ends in failure for no good reason. Like, I just died 20 seconds in. I'm just running headfirst into a group of Cabal and not hiding behind cover, so I don't know what else I was really expecting. The third time around, I decided not to just hold my forward key straight into the enemies. I also decided to use my Well of Radiance early on the first tank, just because I could. I knew what was ahead, and I didn't really need my Well for anything anyway. I killed ads, but somehow none of them dropped any heavy ammo. This made the fight against the second Goliath tank a miserably tedious 80 seconds. I tried to get close with my shotgun, but that was the closest I got to dying, and I'd rather not restart this section entirely over again when it appears I'm at its end. This just is a pure battle of attrition, and I end up winning. I commune with the crux of darkness. This sucks me straight into the pyramid. The Cabal managed to do much more than just set up a camp outside. Inside the pyramid, they've already erected some shields to block some critical doorways. As we try to traverse the passageways, the pyramid's walls shift, blocking certain entrances, all while creating new platforms for us to traverse ourselves. This allows us to find our way past the first shield. Our ghost decides to notify Eris about this development. Eris relates our experience to hers. When she first explored the pyramid, she felt that the pyramid sensed something in her that caused some sort of resonance. The pyramid connecting with Eris in any sort of way actually caused her to feel an immense amount of resentment. This helps reinforce Eris's absolute hatred for the darkness, but even she had to learn how to use it. I wonder if this means if Eris has the ability of deepsight, if she's learned some more powers from the darkness, or if it's just referencing her ability to use stasis as we learned from Beyond the Light. After clearing out some more Cabal, we discover more information while talking to Eris. Apparently, Xivu Arath destroyed the homeworld of the Cabal. That's a completely new revelation to me, and I have no idea when this took place in the timeline. I don't know if it makes sense for Gaul to have gone on a crusade against a traveler if Xivu was still out there, so it was probably after we defeated him. This means that Xivu Arath most likely destroyed the Cabal homeworld after that, and Kaido became the Empress after that. At least that's what I've gathered from the dialogue thus far. We enter the next room and fight off some more Cabal before disabling a jammer. Somehow, the Cabal have created technology that can actually affect the pyramid itself, which seems pretty insane. It's even crazier than that though, because the jammer disrupted my OBS recording even though I'm several dimensions apart. Nothing too crazy happens though, we simply traverse through some more rooms while taking care of some more Cabal. There were some tunnels of wind that pushed us up several floors as well. I'm glad that air conditioning exists inside the ship. Our ghost suggests that the pyramid isn't helping us out of generosity. While the darkness is a neutral force, the pyramids themselves have their own agenda and are somehow manipulating us. This makes me question how exactly the pyramids function even further. Is there some entity controlling these pyramids? Are the pyramids just sentient triangles? Like, what exactly is their deal? Where is the veiled statue involved in this cluster? Is it the one controlling the ship? I don't get any answers. I also chose to avoid this campaign banner for some reason. If I had hazarded a guess, I probably just straight up didn't see it. Regardless, this begins our second encounter. I take the high ground and pick off the Cabal infantry from the east side ledge. Somehow the Cabal have built up such a force inside the pyramid that they can just send in a ship with reinforcements. This is where the Imperial Deserter shows its face. I'm able to chunk most of its first bar of health using only my Tiku's divination. However, as the rest of the adds decide to spawn in, I have to redirect my focus. Okay, well, I don't have to, but I decided that I should take care of them first before trying to initiate the second phase of the boss. While my plan was good, running towards the group of enemies instead of just using my already good position was not the smartest of decisions. I realized the error in my ways fairly quickly though, and relocated myself onto the highest ground possible. I wasn't even trying to hit the Imperial Deserter, but the splash from my Apex Predator did enough damage. I focused on clearing all of the adds first before re-engaging with the mechanic of disabling the jammer. Okay, calling disabling the jammer a mechanic is stretching that term a little too thin, but it does force us to reposition, which is something, I guess. My solar nades destroyed the deserter's health bar, and so I disabled the jammer once more. I even managed to get back into my well of radiance with 5 seconds left on it. The Imperial Deserter decides to act a little threatening for once and jumps onto the platform where I'm standing. I unload a few pumps of my shotgun and rocket launcher, but in one of the scariest moments I've experienced thus far, the deserter stomps down and knocks me back off the edge. I'm panicking like you wouldn't believe in this moment because if I'm going down as a warlock, I'm never going back up. Luckily, the platform directly below me was accessible from the backside, and I could find my footing on some solid ground. After that, I finish off the Imperial Deserter, and our ghost picks up on the conversation. Our ghost actually points out that surely something must control these ships. This is where Eris chimes in. Queen Marasov has traveled beyond our heliosphere and encountered the entity that commands the pyramids. Eris actually answers some questions I had. This entity that Mara discovered is most likely the same entity that Savathun referenced in Sagira's imprint, the Witness. This entity's mind alone is louder than anything else Mara has encountered and has many different voices. One of those voices took on our appearance and talked to us in the Black Garden. Unfortunately, the ending of Shadowkeep was not exactly explained at all. But if I had to guess, that voice and or presence was most likely from that veiled statue we found in the Garden of Salvation raid. That means the veiled statue we embrace the darkness with in Beyond Light is most likely the pilot of this pyramid. This also means that the statue is connected with the Witness in some way. While these thoughts fester in my mind, I still have to continue my journey. As I proceed to slaughter some more Cabal, it really dawns on me that these pyramids are beyond massive. Like, how is all of this just able to exist in the pyramid itself? Like, it's pretty wild. As I walk into the next room, the surreal style of the pyramids is taken up a notch. Some scraggly statues are lined up for some unknown reason. The middle of the room is adorned with some multicolored green and gold reflective blocks. This one level is wild and showcases the amount of variety that has never been present before. This mission started in some snow and now we're in the middle of an alien pyramid. The contrast really helps in making us feel like we've taken quite the journey. Being able to interact with the mobs from all the way up here is also pretty neat. Our ghost chimes in to remind us of Ikora's words and our goal for no great reason. Yes, I got it. Deepsight should allow us to see psychic imprints of past events. Our ghost's final observation is interesting though. The light made us forget, but now the darkness is helping us remember. This ties in with the overall themes of the darkness not being evil and the light not being good, but also develops those ideas a little further. Isn't it odd that in relation to memories, the light is more associated with erasing them, while the darkness is about remembering everything? We were resurrected by our ghost and remember nothing before that. We haven't even tried to figure out anything about our past lives or even ask any questions on it. If I wanted to read into it even further though, most people tend to only focus on and remember the best moments in their lives. This is why nostalgia is such a powerful emotion and is often used to manipulate us. We don't tend to remember all of the bad moments, or even worse, boring moments. Think about how much of our lives are filled with absolutely nothing. Even when playing this game, there's a bunch of travel time, and those aren't the moments you remember. In fact, for these videos, you don't see like 80% of the footage. How much of what I'm showing to you, the viewer, right now, is even an accurate representation of the game and my gameplay. You don't even see most of it, especially because you're too busy hitting that like button. We placed down our campaign banner to begin the third encounter. The Cabal grouped up in front of us are unleashing a volley of their finest ammunition against the veiled statue, and we must stop them. The Cabal jammers make their reappearance here, except there are 3 of them this time around, each in their respective corner. After disabling them, Valastral Gur, the Exiled, makes his appearance. I activate Sunbracers and toss out a few nades as I try to find some high ground. This does enough damage to Valos to trigger his second phase. The jammers have unjammed themselves, so we have to unjam the jammers once more. This is where the fact that there are 3 jammers actually matters. Due to their locations, we have to run out of cover multiple times. This of course exposes us to all the Cabal adds, which increases the overall risk of the encounter. While there are a decent amount of enemies, the pyramid changes after each jammer is disabled in order to provide some additional areas of cover. Along with that, this room is massive overall, and so if you clear out an area, you have a good amount of time to recover before the enemies can close in on you. This was also the first encounter where I understood why Sunbraces were getting its nerf. I don't know what exactly they were changing, but when I accidentally ticked over the boss's phase, I was like, yeah, the damage output, along with its area coverage, might be a little overtuned. I wasn't even the best at maintaining my melee cooldown, let alone remembering the fact that heat rises existed. With Valis dead, we can collect our loot and commune with the statue. We hear some sort of unintelligible whisper, but some sort of darkness energy has clearly been revealed to us. I also made sure to look behind the statue this time in order to not repeat the Shattered Throne incident. The view behind the statue is pretty insane. It almost looks like as if there are ruins of an entire civilization back there. With the Cabal presence taken care of, and us having successfully communed with the veiled statue, we have no reason to stay in the pyramid anymore and return back to Ikora. We still cannot unlock the memories in Sagira's shell, even though we have improved our deepsight powers. There must be something we're missing, and that might be related to whatever energy the Hidden have discovered back in Savathun's throne world.